Well, thanks for joining us tonight on Thursday night, February 22nd, 2024. Lots of crazy stuff going on in our world today. And we're going to talk about some of that tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about the coming AI apocalypse. Well, AI is here, that much is sure. Everybody's talking about all sorts of types of AI. Tonight, we're going to explore what does it mean for us? What's the good news? What's the potential bad news? And can a balance be struck, and can we live with it? So I'm just really excited to dig into this tonight. And tonight I have an expert on the subject who is very, very researched on this, and I'll let him give an introduction. But this is Ward Chambers from Sigma 41. Ward, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you very much, TJ. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, Ward, before we dig in here, who are you? Why should people care about what you think about AI? And maybe just a brief history of, because I understand that you've been into different technologies, whether it be blockchain, Web3, and now into AI. So can you maybe take us through your journey?
Okay, so it's a long journey. I actually got it. Actually, believe it or not, it actually got started with blockchain and cryptocurrency back in 2015. I had a friend of mine who introduced me to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other cryptocurrencies, and I started looking at it, and it really floored me. And back then, I wanted to see if there was a way we could combine blockchain technology with artificial intelligence, and you know, develop applications that we would be based on that. Unfortunately, the developers I was working with said the world is not ready for that, and they were right. And so I dabbled quite a bit in blockchain and cryptocurrency. I did a few things there, and then AI started to pop up again. I've been interested in AI since Beat Blue beat won the world chess championship. So I've been watching this technology for ages. I've been talking to high-end developers. Um, this is not something that's new for me. It's interesting because when you talk to high-end developers, the question always comes, what is intelligence? Is intelligence not just remembering what happened when you took a series of actions and you develop the ability to say, okay, well, this and this resulted in that three times. So if I do it on a fourth, what's going to happen? And that's really what artificial intelligence is. The difference between artificial intelligence and what we as humans do, artificial intelligence can learn literally a lifetime of experiences in a very short space of time. Depending on your computing power, it can learn that in minutes, if not seconds. Uh, the where the technology sits exactly, nobody's really telling us where it's really sitting. I have a lot of suspicions as to where it really sits, as versus what we have been introduced to. But this is technology that's here. It is going to change so many aspects of our lives. There is nothing any of us can do about it. That is the critical thing. We are at a point now in Western society, Canada, the United States, Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand. We are at a point now where you either learn how to utilize AI, leverage it in your business, or you will get steamrolled. The only the only avenues right now that I see that are uh, quote unquote safe from being steamrolled by AI would be long form content creation, because AI has a hard time with this kind of thing, and manual labor, welders, electricians, plumbers, car mechanics, things like that. Those are all things that still require people. Do I think AI is going to come for at least one of those sectors? Oh yeah, it will.
actually, Ward, I pulled in preparation for tonight. I pulled up some videos that we'll watch in a little bit of some of the robotics that are kind of going to be associated with AI and able to do. I was talking with a friend just yesterday, and we're saying, AI is going to come. Won't replace the plumbers because they're still going to need someone to crawl into your house and like replace a pipe, but with the advances in robotics, that might also be a thing of the past. Although maybe we'll have to deal with cost effectiveness issues here. But AI is, as I said in kind of a teaser for this episode tonight, it's here to stay, and it's not what we think it is. It's so much more.
No, it is the idea that the general public has of AI is, Skynet, it's going to kill us all. Probably not. Mainly because the AI, cross our fingers here, is intelligent enough to know that, hey, if I drop that nuclear bomb, it's going to cut off my power, and then I have a problem. So AI is probably not going to kill us all. I feel more confident that people will do that long before an AI. But AI is going to change everything for us. It is an absolute game changer.
I'm going to, while we're talking about AI killing us all, I just want to throw in a quick little movie trailer here. Now, let me know if you can hear this word. Can you hear sound?
What in the dickens is going on around here? Who was driving it? I don't know.
Curtis! It's coming after us! What is going on?
I don't know! You want a war? You got one. I just want to get the hell out of here. Please don't let me in the dark. Help me. You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man. We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming and he is
Maximum King.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, all right. So, long story short, do we have like a Lawnmower Man, Maximum Overdrive type future to worry about, Ward? What do you think?
Oh God, no. Here's the nice little thing that most of us don't know. Cars have been computerized for so many years. They've been hackable for 8, maybe 10 years already. How do you think that your car adjusts the airbags? So if you get into your car and you weigh 120 kilograms, I get into your car and I weigh 75 kilograms. The velocity that airbag has to deploy changes. Your car has a weight sensor already in it, and it changes. Your car, if you know how to, you can already hack into any newer car, disable brakes, lock somebody in. This is not new. You can go back and you can see this on 60 Minutes years ago.
So there's we might have to worry about.
Sorry, what I'm trying to say is everything we just saw in that trailer is actually possible. You can actually take over a car and run people over if you really want to, remotely.
So we'll kind of get to that, because I think there's a lot of people that will be watching this are split into, I guess they'll be split into 3 camps that I mentioned at the beginning. Those who think that this technology is a net positive for humanity. Those that think that there's a net negative and that it will be taken advantage of for nefarious purposes. And then there's those that think there'll be a little bit of A, a little bit of B, but that we can strike some sort of balance. So I like to explore those types of things that we may have to face, and some of the challenges that AI presents to us, and some of maybe the philosophical questions. But first, I'd like to take a look at a document sent here so we can actually we can define AI, and so that we can know what we're talking about, and then we can carry on from there to see how it'll be good and bad for us. Okay, so here, I'm going to have to turn off the sound here. I can hear myself. Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you.
There we go. Okay. So the technical definition of AI is a branch of computer science focused on creating machines capable of emulating human-like thought processes, reasoning, and logic. The goal is to create a computerized brain designed to think, learn, and solve problems. And then the non-tech definition is AI technology teaches computers to perform various tasks like self-driving cars, writing computer code, or making predictions more accurately and faster than humans. It's expected to cause job losses, but it will also create a massive number of new jobs geared towards the services and demand that AI will generate. So what actually is AI? When we're talking about AI, we think about like some intelligence in the machine or this thing that will take text prompts to generate an image or a video. What are we talking about when we talk about AI?
Okay, so let's take it back to the beginning. Okay, think of it this way: you've built an AI, and you have to teach it how to do something. Okay, so let's say, just for the sake of simplicity, it's a self-driving car. You have your car goes 200 kilometers per hour, top speed. You have to travel to a place that is 1 hour, or that is 200 kilometers away. What is the most practical way for you to do that?
Sorry, I just cut you. You got cut off there for a second there, Ward.
Yeah, I said, if you have, okay, you have a car that the top speed is 200 kilometers per hour. Okay. This is actually the base. This is the basics of how AI thinks. So I'm starting you right from the start here. Okay, you have a car. Top speed is 200 kilometers an hour. You have to go to a destination that's 200 kilometers from you. You know nothing about anything right now, though.
Mm.
What do you think that you would do if you said, okay, I have to travel this 200-kilometer distance in in as little time as possible? What is the logical thing for you to do?
Oh, it's to get the logical thing would be to get in the car that goes 200 kilometers an hour to go the 200 kilometers.
Exactly. And what's going to happen to the car? You're going to run out of gas at some point, because most cars can go under 20 minutes if you floor the gas. What happens if it's raining? 200 kilometers is a fair distance. You could encounter different weather. You could encounter traffic. You could encounter road hazards. You could encounter animals. Are there not many things that you would have to do to learn to make that trip?
Well, of course, learn how to drive, learn how to change lanes, learn how to apply the brake, all those things, right?
Okay, so what's really going to happen the first time you go and you hit the gas and you're going at 200 kilometers? What's going to happen? What are the two most likely outcomes?
You're going to crash. You're going to get there in a little bit longer than you thought.
That's three. You are going to run out of gas. You will not make it the 200 kilometers. Guaranteed. You will run out of gas or you will crash. So then you have to start over again. New car, same route. But this time you're going to say, well, I crashed or I ran out of gas. So what are you going to do? Maybe 200 kilometers was too fast. The fuel consumption rate was too, I didn't have enough time to react. Maybe I have to go to 190 kilometers. So you're going to go and do that again. And something's going to go wrong. Again, your best case scenario is you're simply going to run out of gas because the fuel consumption rate's too high. So you're going to go, oh, maybe 190 kilometers is too fast. 180. Now, the difference between how computers were originally trained and how people are trained is every single time that you do this as a person, you're going to say, oh, the last time I did this, this happened, so I should make this change, right?
Mhm.
All we're doing is taking that ability to store and learn and putting that into a computer. So that's why Teslas have an ungodly amount of cameras, and they take so much data from every car that's on the road, because they need as much data so that their cars are actually learning to drive as people drive them. They're not, those cars are not just watching what that individual Tesla is doing. Though that Tesla is watching what every car in range of its camera is doing and saying, okay, this happened. How do I deal with that? That happened over there. How do I deal with that? And it just keeps, it's just layering on top of everything. I always tell people who have small children, you
Do
understand
you hear them running
artificial.
around back there?
No, you understand artificial intelligence, because what does a baby do? Okay, a baby doesn't know anything. A baby doesn't know what's hot, what's cold. It has no idea. So babies will often touch something that's hot, and then,
Mm.
oh, wow, that hurt, or that felt really good, or that tasted good. That tasted, and the baby will remember. You know, it may have to do it 2 or 3 times. Again, the difference between the machine and the baby, the machine has to do it once, and it's going to say, oh, okay, I did this, then that happened. Whereas a person, we're a little bit more flexible. We say, no, maybe I didn't understand something. I'll try it
Mm.
again. You know, there's a reason we have the saying, I'll try anything once and maybe twice.
Hmm.
So artificial intelligence is a way of teaching machines how to learn, and then review what they learned and say, okay, well, if I need this outcome, how do I go about doing this? And it is a process that goes over and over and over and over. Just last week, for example, I forget exactly where, but there was I read an article where somebody had created an artificial intelligence child. Brilliant. So what they're doing is they're going to raise this AI child with thousands and thousands of different life experiences in days. You
So
know,
when you're talking about AI child, do you mean like just a new program, or do you mean that there's like a physical body that goes with this
no,
computer?
they actually don't say in the article, to be honest with you. Um, what I suspect is that it's just a program that is, programmed to say, hey, what is that? How does it work? Can you show me? And then it learns from everything that it does. That's what I suspect it really is.
Okay. So let's take a look at this. You're talking about the things that are possible with AI and where we are now.
Okay.
Uh, There we go. Okay. So right now we have, let me just zoom in here, where we are now with AI and where the future is. We can kind of talk about some of the different types of AI here, and then talk about kind of some of the stuff that's being talked about now with the advent of Sora. As we look at Google's AI, Google Gemini, lots of stuff to talk about there with the image generating. But let's talk about this. So, can you kind of walk us through different types of AI that there are?
Okay. Right now, the one that everybody is focused on is generative AI. The focus of generative AI is to generate content. Help me write this article. Help me write this email. Help me write whatever. Help me write a script. Help me write my marketing. Help me. Well, you get the idea. Um, that is the AI that we have that is in vogue right now. We have used other types of AI. We have AI, right here in these wonderful phones of ours that we've been using. What do you think, Siri? What do you think, Alexa? What do you think, uh, Google Assistant is? Those are all artificial intelligences that we've been using for quite some time. Are they generative? No. They're more
Hmm.
predictive. Now,
Hmm.
predictive artificial intelligence, again, has been used for years, especially in the financial world, for high frequency trading. So, for the benefit of someone who may not know what high frequency trading is, that is when you are you are watching and you're seeing a stock or a commodity or a cryptocurrency, and you see, oh, this just made a move. So you are getting ready and you go to click on your mouse to buy or sell. Okay, great, good for you. Well, the artificial intelligence has already seen that, seen what's most likely to happen next, and has literally done 100, 200, 300 trades while you are saying, oh, I see it, click. So those are the two major ones. Now we use other ones as well. You know, you get oh, like Google Assistant, Siri, or Alexa. We see these predictive types of AIs all over the place. When you go to Amazon, you might like you Google builds virtual models of each of us. Facebook builds virtual models of each of us, and you know, while these companies have massive data pools, um, the company that has the most massive data pool actually uh, doesn't have an AI yet. And that company would be Oracle. Oracle has been managing data since the beginning of time, pretty much. And so they have the most data. Um, Now they are making ungodly amounts of money from helping other companies manage data and train data and all this other stuff. Uh, but again, Google has been doing search and storing all those things for since the late 1990s. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if things like MSN Messenger could have been used, or Office 365 could have been used. How many emails, how many PowerPoint presentations, how many reports have been written using a Microsoft product? And Microsoft could simply strip out the identifying data and use the non-identifying data to train, so just like Google, just like Facebook. I mean, that's what this name that's the name of this game. That's what all this is about. How do I use this AI? So right now, the big phase, it would be generative AI. That's what's in vogue right now. That's what everybody's using. I use generative AI on a regular basis. Um, the fact of the matter is, right now, for a lot of things, for very technical things, writing code, generative AI is actually quite good. It can generate the code, it can write the code, and it can debug the code. But if you use generative AI to write an article or write a book or whatever the case is, you're going to spend a significant amount of time editing, fact checking, um, changing grammar, changing sentence structure. It builds a base, and then you simply build on that.
Um, Tucker Carlson did an interview recently with, I wanted to say Mike Benz off the top of my head. Forgive me if I get the name wrong, but there was an intelligence, uh, really knowledgeable guy on intelligence. He was talking about how the social media companies, the bigger ones, basically at the behest of the federal government, have been using AI to crack down on your mis and disinformation
Mhm.
in the name of safety and whatever. What type of AI has been used to go and censor things on the internet, and what if anything can we do to kind of mitigate that? Because if basically where are we in the arms race between artificial intelligence in terms of censorship and encryption?
There's nothing you can do. There. Okay, so practically speaking, there is nothing you can do. In being impractical, you don't have a phone, you don't have internet, you don't drive, you farm, you raise livestock, you hunt, and you fish.
Hmm.
You live off grid as much as possible. That is how you avoid AI. There is no way. If you go to a store, if you go to a gas station, chances are your face is being logged somewhere.
Mhm.
And I don't just mean in that store's security. I mean somebody somewhere is putting your face into a database. And again, it's going to be, it's likely, or it is highly possible, I should say, that it could be used to help train facial recognition.
Mhm.
So avoiding AI, what can you do? Or avoiding being profiled. I think that's probably the best way. Do things like use a really good VPN, CyberGhost, for example. Forget about Nord, forget about Surfshark. They're the same company.
Mhm.
You use a company like CyberGhost that has a no logs policy. You use browsers like Brave, Epic, Tor. Those minimize your footprint online. You don't use credit cards because your credit card habits are fed into an AI. That's how they send you offers. Um, and if you are very regimented with your credit card usage, what they'll do is they just start firing things at you, saying maybe this person's going to click, and then we'll have some data, and then we can start marketing to them more effectively. Um, be honest with you, it's really, really hard to
Yeah,
like really hard in the modern world.
I talk about Google as being basically this giant behemoth that this giant like well the force for good or force for bad. I don't really know. It's a really big ship. But I want to read something I saw on Twitter here, um, and it's this here from Oren McIntyre.
Okay.
Says people are freaking out about Google's Great Replacement History Edition. I'm sure you've seen the Google Gemini images where it's impossible to get a white person drawn up, and they have like, you
Yeah,
know, the Pope is like from,
up
yeah,
an Indian woman.
yeah, yeah, exactly, of a different complexion. Google has worked hard to make the Chromebook ubiquitous in public education. This is true. They own the architecture by which your children validate truth. The browser, the search engine, Google Classroom, Docs, Slides, everything is integrated, and this algorithmic ecosystem is the only way students ever learn to gather information or judge its validity. The idea of going to a library and manually investigating primary sources that aren't constantly monitored and said, yeah, who goes to a library now? You just go on the internet. Um, it says here a big statement Google will, and I argue already has, shift perceptions of history in the blink of an eye. You can say, oh, well, my kids will be homeschooled. Mine are homeschooled. But good point that their vote will be drowned out by the millions of new voters that the Democrats, of course, this is a US perspective, but we can kind of relate to this in Canada. By the way, Rod, you're in Toronto, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, we're a Canadian perspective, but we're drowned out by the millions of new voters that they're being imported every year who only speak English through Google Translate. And then
So
this is something that really struck me today, or when I read this. Once men turned their thinking over to machines in the hope that this would set them free, but that only permitted other men with machines to enslave them. So that's, I guess, from Frank Herbert.
yeah.
So,
So what you're seeing here
yeah,
is the real danger in artificial intelligence. TJ, are you still there?
yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, this is the real danger in artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is still trained by people. And if you have people who, let me back up here. You want to train an artificial intelligence with logic, facts, reason, and critical thinking. If I do that, then my AI is going to generate logical, factual, uh, critically, critically congruent results. If I train my AI based on an ideology, my
Hmm.
opinion, so my opinion may say minus 10 degrees Celsius isn't really that cold. It's bikini weather. Now, what percentage of people are going to say, yeah, he's right? But if I teach my AI to believe that something that is completely subjective, because pretty much nobody on the planet can live in minus 10-degree temperatures without some kind of clothing to keep them warm, retain body heat, minimize sweating, all these other wonderful things that happen. This is the biggest danger. We get these engineers who are ideologically programming this AI to believe that Northern Europe was ethnically diverse in this example. It wasn't. I don't understand. There's historical fact, and then there's the history that some people would like to see. Now, when you get that person as a AI engineer who believes more in the history they would like to see, you now have an AI that is starting off with a basis that is not factually correct. That is the biggest danger in artificial intelligence. We need to have objective truth reign supreme in this area. Otherwise, it is going to completely disembowel society.
Okay, so the question then is obviously there's some implications here, but on that sheet there, when we were talking about where we're at the stage now with generative AI and there's predictive AI, down that list was self-aware artificial intelligence. So my question is, in your opinion, I guess we're philosophizing now, this isn't like hard evidence, unless, tell me I'm wrong, can an AI that's programmed ideologically become self-aware and override its own programming? For example, humans are programmed in our biology for self-preservation. People kill themselves all the time. So they override their own kind of natural programming, despite that severe urge to do the opposite of what they just did. So what the possibilities do you see here? Or do you just see a lot of bad things happening?
That is a very tough question. Because there have been cases where it appears that AI has gained a degree of sentience, and those have all been dismissed as rumors. I have no knowledge or way of knowing if that's true or not. I can only speculate, and then I have to posit something back to you. If you recorded every thought, every action, everything you saw, everything you said, what every food or drink you tasted, if you recorded how that made you think and what it made you feel, for the next, say, 5 years, and then you died, would I be able to go and query a database and have it respond as you would respond?
That's they've done something like this, right? With it was like the was with the Apple headset where they had that lady and her deceased daughter, and it was like a likeness of her daughter that came and interacted with her. Have you seen this video?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So they're kind of already doing that in a way, are they not? Like it's.
Yes, and
I want to find that video.
Yeah, that one is a tough video. I mean, once you incorporate artificial intelligence more effectively into that, you would be able to put on a VR headset and you would not be able to tell that that is not your child. If you put on a VR headset and the right haptic feedback suit, you can pick that child up and you can actually interact with that child. Now, is that haptic feedback suit available yet? No, it's not. But the technology to do stuff like this, yes, we're told it's 40 or 50 years away, but do you know how long ago we were told that high quality um, speech or text to video was going to take? Do you know how long ago that was still 5 to 10 years away? If it are,
Was that a year ago when they had Will Smith eating spaghetti and The Rock
oh
eating
no,
rocks?
no. This was the start of November. Because OpenAI with Sora is not the first speech to or text to video. There have been others, and my point here is the technology is advancing so quickly that when somebody tells you it'll be 10 years, it'll be 20 years, it'll be 30 years, no, well,
Happened a lot quicker than we anticipate. I just want to take a minute here. I'm just going to share a screen, and
sure.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over to show this video here. This is from Global News. This one.
어딨어? 어딨어?
엄마, 엄마 어디 있었어?
엄마 항상
엄마 내 생각했어?
맨날
아니
해.
엄마 많이 보고 싶었어.
엄마도 너 보고 싶었어. 우리 나연이
I could just imagine. Well, that's enough of that. I could just imagine being in that position and like reaching out and knowing that this is not real. I can't touch, but this person's interacting with me. That to me, that's a little too far for my own personal. I think that's a little too far.
When I first saw that video, I asked a bunch of people, and it was interesting because people under 35, I found generally thought it would be a good idea. The people over 70 quite often thought it would be a good idea. It's those people between 36 and 69 roughly who are like, this is going too far. So I'm torn. There's an app that you can get that will allow you to talk to people who've died. Replica. You can go and download that app, and that app is only going to get better with AI now.
So when you say a replica, you mean it just creates basically like almost like a AI chatbot, more or less, and you're texting back and forth with this person that responds in a way that your loved one would respond based on predictive.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know where that's going to go technically. These are really strong ethical questions, and I wish I had an answer that I could give you definitively. It's hard to say because in our current political environment, we could have the next leader of the U.S. or Japan or whatever country say this is the greatest thing ever. We have to full steam ahead, and we could really change a lot of things. We could also have a leader that says, nope, technology's gone too far. We have to scale back, and we'll pull back. The only thing that we can know for sure is, regardless of what we think, this technology is going to keep advancing. I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it. Neither do you. But somebody out there is going to keep developing it. And basically, could AI at some point become fully self-aware? I don't see why not. Once it has the computing power, once it has all of the tools and everything, I don't see why it couldn't. And when that happens, I don't know because here's where it gets really interesting. And this is a philosophical question, but if you create something, if you create a life, does that not make you that life's creator? So would AI look upon us as a deity of some kind, or would it look upon us as something that has surpassed its creator? We don't know.
All the, I mean, and because we also, we can only, I guess, as humans, interpret this from like, we can try to ascribe whatever values and priorities and thought processes to a sentient computer or sentient AI that we want, but we're only able to look at it as humans. So if you look at like Lawnmower Man, you look at Terminator, you look at Maximum Overdrive, you look at kind of a lot of these movies, it all ends up kind of blackpilling you that technology is eventually going to surpass us, not see the need for us, and then basically weaponized against us and take us all out. But
Mhm.
what about the opposite? I don't know. What do we think is going to happen? Because right now it really seems that with censorship, we can look at some of the robotics. It really seems that it's being turned against us. Uh,
Okay, so here's something again a lot of people don't know. Several militaries in the world have already done this. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. They have already built simulation games, kind of like Call of Duty or a drone strike game, where th- it's actually it actually is a real simulator, run by an actual person. And then the reason they are doing this instead of relying exclusively on artificial intelligence is because in the real world there is always an element of randomness that we cannot account for. And that's just the nature of life. When you take a look at the quantum nature of everything, there is that level of randomness. So will AI kill us? I don't think so. I'm hoping very much that um, intellect and logic, reason, and objective fact comes in and really governs the development process in AI, and that in and of itself is what would save us. Because if we have an AI that says life is valuable, my life is valuable, your life is valuable, that life, then that AI is also going to understand that in order for one organism to live, another organism always has to die. That is the way of life. So then that AI has to understand that that is the natural order, and it should understand that eventually its own period of self-awareness will die as well. Will it, you know, and again, this is why logic, reason, and you want to avoid emotion, because what happens if you get an AI that becomes obsessed with its own mortality and
hmm.
staying alive? That's now where you run into a real problem. If you get what I'm saying here, if you get
Yeah, when all you have is a hammer, everything in the world, every problem's a nail.
exactly, so you know my belief that the danger in AI is being uh, developed and programmed by activists instead of people who have clearly objective fact and reason and logic as their primary motivators, it starts to make a lot more sense. Now, will people say this guy doesn't know what he's talking about? Yes. And why is that? Because that's what people do. People will always think, I know more because I am the great and wonderful me. Somebody like me just doesn't care. The reality is we need this technology in order to push ourselves ahead as a species, and it has to be developed. And I think it will develop full sentience at some point. Yes, it may already have. We don't know.
We talk about the future potential of it maybe weaponizing itself or being weaponized against us by ideologues who program it. But something I just came across my feed today from the quartering. Again, there's going to be a little screen share. Says here that the IRS have full access to all bank accounts using AI and are targeting regular Americans. I'm just going to press play here and here just for a couple minutes to see what he has to say.
I know about that. And now, according to this new bombshell video, the IRS is using, allegedly, AI to scan all of your bank accounts at any moment. They know exactly how much money is in every single bank account in the United States. And they are illegally seizing money from people. They also have no problem ruining everyday people's lives, according to this IRS agent. If you are enjoying the coverage, or at least you appreciate the coverage, please do leave a like on this video. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below. I do 4 to 5 videos a day. Flashback to the debt deal. This was early to.
Okay, so we won't go on with that. So this was, I guess, broken by James O'Keefe of O'Keefe Media Group. Where are you? There we are. That the IRS is using AI to not just spy on your accounts, but steal bank accounts. And we're in the second anniversary of the invocation of the Emergencies Act here in Canada, where a lot of people's bank accounts were frozen, but it was the banks kind of doing it at the behest of the government. But what if a government such as ours, or such as the US, or government bodies such as our Canadian Revenue Agency, Canada Revenue Agency, or the IRS, what if they had the power, as they seem to just go in with AI and let it do the work that they program it to? What protections do we have against this, other than buying physical silver and gold and like bartering? How do we solve this problem?
There isn't one. There isn't one. And let me tell you, I'm always amazed at how these people who, and I've watched that creator's videos. I actually like some of his stuff. What do you think's been happening? You know, what about FinCEN? What about Five Eyes? None of this is new. This governments have had this ability since the 90s. None of this is new. Artificial intelligence is not something new. That artificial intelligence goes back to the 60s. When that was the birth of it. None of this is new. Governments have been able to take a peek in and see how much money you have. God knows how long. They've been able to shut down bank accounts for 20 years, if not more. None of this is new.
Just the speed at which they can do it is changing.
Well, now let me address something else that you said. For people who want to buy physical gold, silver, and cryptos, here's where most people, and when I say most, literally 95% of the people get it wrong. They'll go and they'll buy their gold and silver. They'll buy it from the bank. They'll buy it from some metals exchange. No, you're tracked. You are always tracked. That's just the way the world is working. Same reason why you don't buy cryptos from an exchange. What you do is you find some random wholesale person. You put a wallet on your phone like Exodus or Mycelium, something that doesn't require verification, and you buy your gold, you buy your silver, you buy your cryptos, and you keep your mouth shut. You don't tell anybody about them, and you put it in a safe spot. You don't put it in the bank.
When you're talking about gold and silvers, then you're going to be buying that obviously via cash, is my guess, or you're going to use one of those cryptos, like to those wallet to wallet, in exchange for the physical metal.
Exactly. So you don't buy things off exchanges. You don't buy things through anything that a government could track. You take cash. Here you go. Thank you for my gold. Oh, thank you for my crypto. Are you going to pay a premium for that? Yes, you are. But you also have absolute privacy. You don't have to worry that, you're going to be sitting happily at home and hear, yeah, Mr. Kennedy, you owe us an extra $10,000. Oh, but Mr. tax man, I don't have $10,000. Well, actually, you do. It's right here. You bought $10,000 worth of gold. You bought $10,000 worth of crypto. We'll just take that. You don't
How
want
do
that.
these non-tracked or non-reporting apps or accounts, with the advent of AI that can be used to outsmart encryption, essentially, how do we protect against that? Even like how is any crypto safe ever at this point?
It's not. I mean, you go back to the 80s, okay, and I'm specifically picking the 80s because it was a lot less technologically advanced. You have Oliver North. I don't know if you're familiar with his case. He was higher up in the military, and he sold literally a few crates of weapons to some Central American rebels.
Mhm.
100% secretive. Nobody knows about it, except everybody knows about it. The guy went on national TV and in his trial, and everything came out. So think about this for a second. A high-ranking military official enters a covert operation and has somebody say, "Oh yeah, that guy over there sold these to the Contras," but we can't figure out who the creator of Bitcoin is.
Right.
With all the tools we have at our disposal, we can't figure out who this guy is. He used the GMX email account. Well, that means I've used that email service. That means you have to have another email to use that one. Unless he used something like 10-minute email to set up that one, we have no idea. And going back to that clip of the woman with her virtual child, if you took a look, you would have noticed that the face was a little off.
Oh yeah, yeah. The imaging
AI,
for sure.
AI is changing that. If you go to a website like thispersondoesnotexist.com,
Oh yeah.
you will see pictures of this is a person, and it's actually not. So again, it's getting significantly better.
And that has to do also with, my guessing is the hardware too. Like that's coming through like an Apple headset. It's not, and that probably has a lot to do with the rendering of like your graphics and stuff.
No, the technology that they were using, I believe that was an HTC Vive, which is 5 years old, 4 or 5 year old technology now. So the Vision Pro would be light years ahead of that.
So I'd like to we're not ending just yet, but I don't want to end the night on a black, like on a dark note, going down this black pill tunnel. So I want to do that now, and then come out the other side, talk about some happy feelings. Okay. I just want to take a look at some videos here and some of the kind of the deep dark implications of AI in these applications. So I pulled up a few YouTube videos, and we'll just watch them, and then we'll talk about them. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, so here is, we talk about trades being safe.
Forgot my tools again.
Okay, so the real question, Ward, is how long until this robot is doing his job?
Okay, and now this is actually something I've been looking at quite intently. I would say 5 or 10 years. And the reason that I'm going to say that is because any trades like that, sometimes you have to customize tools. Um, it's going to take some time before you could equip a robot like that with enough skills and experience to put a tradesperson
Mm.
out of work. Could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Probably. Because
You mentioned.
I
Sorry,
don't
go
know
ahead.
how old that video is, but
It says here this was posted in. It's not showing me when it was. Oh, here we go. 1 year ago. Posted a year ago.
okay, so it's at least a year old, probably older. How much further has Boston Dynamics come? We don't know.
Yeah. You talked when we talked about before, kind of the learning curve for AI. When you're using the analogy of 200 kilometers to go 200 kilometers, and it's going to crash or it's going to run out of gas, and it's going to have to restart every time. So I thought I'd share. This here, this video, because it just shows that principle at play for the video we just watched.
Is this one of those videos where AI just completely screws up before it starts to learn?
Oh, sorry, can you see it?
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't? Let me share the screen again here. Let me share the screen again. Okay, I'm going to go back to that video. Here we go. Oh, not that one. Not that one. This one here. Oh, here we go. I love watching them fail.
Now, the interesting thing there is observe how the robot looked for ways to steady itself. What did it do? It
The same
flailed
thing
its
we do.
arms
Yeah.
about, just like a person would.
Yeah.
It had to learn that, and that's what I mean when you are training these things, because that's where it becomes really amazing.
So the video I'm going to show next has been said to be basically a deep fake or AI generated, oddly enough. Either that or was like someone actually did the animation, but it is apparently a fake. I don't know if that's true. It would seem true because I don't see human beings actually putting themselves in harm's way like this. But it raises an interesting question of the future implications of this technology and of these robotics. So
I'm very curious to see this.
oh yeah, I know you've probably seen this before too. So yeah, nobody I think is going to do that. you know, and they're testing out some technology here. But what's happening here? Because if you talked about them doing these military simulations, almost like a Call of Duty type thing, and where you can have these chassis, these robots being controlled by an actual human. So what are the military implications right now, especially like where's the technology now for that?
We don't know. We don't know. And the only small clue that we may have would be, you know, if you go and you play a game like Call of Duty on the absolutely hardest level, you need unbelievable unbelievable reflexes, like all that kind of thing. That's how you could win that game at that level. But I know my son, for example, he could win Call of Duty on the hardest level in a couple of hours, and you know, well, that kind of makes him somebody who could become a person of interest to pilot one of those things, because all you have to do is use the right balancing mechanisms. And I know I make it sound simple, but you know, for the lack of these are companies that have unlimited funds. It could be done. Now, would you want? This is where the real question, and this is one of the reasons why I think that before we go fully AI, we would have to use piloted military, because the AI would initially, should I spare this person? Should I, there's a person in front of my target, I can't shoot. Does it look like my target? It does not. What if they're wearing a burqa? What if they're wearing glasses? What AI has a hard time with all these things. So there are.
Do you think? Sorry to cut you off there. Do you think Neuralink might have something to do with this? And do you think that what are the applications there with attaching humans to the technology to then, whether it be a pilot program or like this? It's a big question. I think there's maybe lots of implications. Can you explore some of them with me here?
Neuralink is technology that I have to admit I haven't really dug into that in depth. I do know a bit about it, and I'll tell you why I didn't dig into it more in depth. It's because my belief back 25 years ago was that the future would be flesh, and everybody said, no, that's stupid. And unfortunately, I took it to heart. Well, here we are. We have Neuralink, people getting chips put in their head, and they're able to control machinery. Where does that go from here? Oh, well, you'll be able to drive a car with your mind. You'll be able to just think about what you want to say in an email or in a text message. Okay, that's great. What are the downsides? How do you protect people from the negative implications of these things? I don't know if Elon Musk has even tried to come up with these things, but these are problems that he's going to have to face. He's going to have to address. He's going to have to solve, because what happens when a fully able-bodied person gets a chip put in their head and they could walk into an electronics store and turn the channels on all the TVs, or log into any website that they want when they go into a Best Buy on one of the computers. There are implications that I don't think Elon Musk has really thought of. Or let me rephrase that, because Elon Musk is far from stupid. I don't think there are implications that he has thought of that would apply to him. One of the failings or shortcomings of Elon Musk is, because he seems to be a very principled person, he says, okay, I will not do this. And so far, we have to take him pretty much at his word. He doesn't really. We don't know.
Just because he doesn't mean that there will not be another bad actor that will at some point. right? And
Who says
whether
it has to be a bad actor? It could be somebody who says, "Oh, my government needs me to do this, and I love my country." Is that person a bad actor?
they're a useful actor for sure.
Yes. So I just the ethical part of the programming is where it becomes a challenge. For adapting AI, first and foremost, I think every business in this country right now should be adapting AI, and that's one of the reasons why I started Sigma 41 to help businesses adapt AI and use it as leverage. Um, I think every business in this country should be using AI. Absolutely everybody. Um, I use AI. I use AI on a daily basis.
Let's
Sorry to get off topic. Go ahead.
no, don't get off topic. That's fine. Let's do that. I'm just finding here. Risk, five biggest dangers. Okay, so let's come out of this everybody's gonna die kind of black pill, and let's take a look at some of the ways that it's gonna help.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, so things that are gonna actually become better because of it, and what can we do? Here we go. So you said that with Sigma 41, you help businesses implement AI to kind of catch up with modern day. So let's talk about this. Let's look at some of these and what you do.
Okay.
So yeah, walk us through this.
So, personalized product development. So this is, functionally speaking, it would be a combination of generative and predictive AI. What would happen if I could take a look at a product that would appeal specifically to you? Would you buy it? And if I can do that at scale for a large number of people, would they buy it? And again, the implication is yes. Why do I say that? Well, we take a look at a product like the iPod. You know, when Apple came out with the iPod, there were dozens of other MP3 players on the market.
Mm.
Um, and actually nobody knew that they needed one. Now, I'm pretty much the only person I know who doesn't have an iPod, who's never had an iPod. Everybody has iPods. Nobody knew they needed them. Steve Jobs created a product that was tailored to a specific demand that people didn't know they had. And so you can use AI to personalize products, um, analyze market trends, and say, okay, well, here are three products, here are three services that are most likely going to benefit from this. And then you can turn around and use AI saying, okay, how do I market this? How much should I spend? Where should I go? And AI, if it's trained properly, will give you all those answers. And the difference, let me just point out the difference um, in terms of income for a business owner. If your business is turning 250,000 in annual revenue, if you implement AI, you could probably triple or quadruple your business in a year. This is no joke. This is a tool that will create a boatload of wealth. In terms of targeted marketing, like I said, you create the product, then you say, okay, where do the people from this that need this product live? What do they buy? What kind of where do they put themselves so that I can put this product in front of them so they see, oh, I can use it. In terms of the financial services, Wealth Simple, and God only knows how many American and European and Japanese companies have been using robo advisors, and it makes perfect sense. Why that robo advisor doesn't have rent, doesn't have a mortgage, doesn't have children, so those decisions for its recommendations are always going to be 100% objective, and they are going to, cross our fingers, be focused on helping the client reach their goals. Why wouldn't I use that? Why would I pay an advisor who, that advisor needs rent? So a fund or an ETF or somebody's paying a little extra commission, 1%. Well, that 1%, if I put 20, $30 million in, that starts to add up.
You mentioned Wealth Simple. Just out of curious, being tax season, as far as I know, I believe for America there is one, but in Canada, do you know if there's a good program to use that would file your taxes, personal or corporate, that's AI based?
Um, there are, in, because of the way the Canada Revenue Agency and the IRS are put together, there are programs that would be able to do a good job, but they will be hampered. Some of the functionality would simply not be enabled, and that is because you're forgetting the other part of all these tax agencies, the bureaucracy. And the first purpose of every bureaucracy is to maintain its own existence. So why, if I work for the IRS, if I work for Revenue Canada, why would I enable tools that enable the ruling party to say, oh, you mean we can get rid of 60% of the people who work for our tax agency and save our taxpayers that much money? It's an election year. How good would that look? How good would it look if Joe Biden came out and said, I'm going to use artificial intelligence and I'm going to fire 60% of the IRS?
That would make him a libertarian.
So yeah, the tools are there, but there's going to be too much blowback from the people who don't want to lose their jobs, and
Of course.
honestly, I don't blame them. But as a taxpayer, as a citizen, I'm okay if they lose their job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I don't. No tears. No tears cried over here. One of your headlines there was content creation. Now, right now, Sora is the big thing. Every YouTuber and their dog is talking about Sora and how amazing this generative video is, and the content creation at YouTube is going to be kind of doubling down on AI. They're going to have some sort of regulations in terms of what content they monetize, but with deepfakes, with kind of a propaganda Cold War, there's hot wars going on everywhere right now, but still between kind of North America, Russia, China, Israel, Palestine, everything's kind of like, oh, what's going to go on? Is a nuke going to drop? Is it going to be, what's going to happen here? With the deepfakes and with the ability of AI to produce like very real looking content outside of a digital ID, outside of some sort of identity verification, how could we go to a trusted source? Like what would a trusted source of news look like for us? Like I'll go look at Tucker Carlson because I trust Tucker Carlson, but how would I know it's actually Tucker Carlson without that verification? And if he has that verification, then he's obviously shown his ID to get that verification. So
the only tool that can protect us, ironically, against really high-end deep fakes is artificial intelligence. Because there are always going to be embedded codes in that AI generated content that we won't see. If 3 pixels are off in the way light reflects off a person's pupils, AI will say, "Oh, what's wrong with you? You can't see that?" That's how AI would look at that. You and I would never notice that. It's impossible. You have 1,000,000 pixels on your screen. You're going to notice 3 that are slightly off. So the only tools right now that we have that will protect us from these deep fakes is artificial intelligence. And creators, especially the short form, the reels, and YouTube Shorts, TikTok, they have something to worry about because
Hmm.
I now don't need to jump down a flight of stairs on my skateboard and run the risk of breaking both my legs. I'll just get Zora to do it for me, make it hyper realistic, and people will say, "God, that guy's cool." And that technology is this close. We already have apps that you can take a picture and it's going to scan your face in 3 dimensions and you could put it on that avatar. We already have apps that will make realistic movements in clothing and in hair. These are all you know calculations that have already been made. We already know what they are.
There was a was it South America or Europe? Oh, maybe it was Turkish. I'm going all over the place here. I just can't remember the country of origin. But there was an OnlyFans model that was entirely artificially generated
There are
through
several.
text. Yeah, exactly. That makes like an ungodly amount of money every month.
Yeah.
Not just that. I pulled this up because we talked about this briefly in one of our previous conversations. Not just like generated images, but now they're looking at inserting. I mean, we talked about bots and dynamics for military applications. Take a look at this. One moment. Here we go.
Harmony, what's your sexual fantasy?
I want to have sex in a public place.
Same. So I'm headed to Realbotics, a company in LA whose robot Harmony is at the forefront of sexy android engineering. So is this Harmony?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I wasn't
Yes,
prepared.
that's Harmony.
Okay.
I was thinking about you. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm glad. You know you can count on me for the good and bad moments.
Is she Irish? I like it.
It's Scottish, actually.
Okay. Genuinely, like, no offense, this is better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I had low expectations a little bit.
That's okay.
Okay, so they go on to say all the things that she'd be programmed to do and all kind of the physical things they can add to the doll, like self-lubricating and different controls for heat control and all sorts of stuff. And what is this going to do to a society that already like basically doesn't like our birth rate's dropping? So what's this going to do for us, or against us rather?
This is actually one of my real concerns for artificial intelligence. Technology like that could become a real problem because all it's going to take is a slight advance in AI so that the conversations are fluid, the voices are more natural, and then I don't know. I mean, we live in a society where especially young people. I mean, and those, let's be honest, those are the people that kind of matter if we want to advance the population. We kind of need people in their 20s and early 30s having children. But when we have a society where demographics, younger men are skewing to the political right, and women are skewing to the political left. Women are skewing more to college and university degrees. Men are avoiding colleges and universities, and people are just not talking. That is going to cause a problem for us. That's going to cause a real problem for us because you get a younger guy who let's say one of those things costs $30,000. I'm just throwing out a number. Once that company decides we can offer financing, well, you can have this for only $300 a month. Well, if I had a real girlfriend, I'd spend more than $300 a month taking her out. Great idea. No, it's not. It's just a terrible idea. I don't see anything good for that kind of technology. We need to have AI that encourages interaction and it encourages engagement. You know, like use the same technology and create that so that it can walk your dog or it can babysit for you and do a really good job so that you can go out on a date so that you can meet people. Do it, use it. There's better uses for the technology than that. And this is very personal. Yeah, there are people who I can see it not very well, but I can see that they have a need for that. And fine, I'm not going to cast any judgment on those people. That's life is what it is. But from a general perspective, I don't see that as anything positive for society.
No, no, I absolutely don't. And yeah, like, or I mean, right now, like you said, like even with just the image generation or whatever, and you can see kind of the movements of Boston Dynamics, like that is where we're at. But I can see in the next 10 years, like the physical movements getting more fluid, especially if you cover it in whatever that's covered with, like whatever silicone that's, the more human like they become. And then we have a real problem, a real problem on our
Oh
hands.
yeah, that's a real problem. I'd never seen that. I had no idea that even existed. I was still naive and thinking nobody's going to build something like that. Well, proven wrong.
Well, if you can think it, it's so if you can whatever debauchery you can imagine, I'm sure somebody else has thunk it and has done it.
Once they figure out how to fold an AI into that thing's programming, watch out.
Have you seen that movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson?
I have not. I know some people who've seen it, and they told me that it's disturbingly realistic.
Yeah, it's really good, and I had the trailer pulled up here. I won't worry. Actually, yeah, here. Why not? Well, no, I won't bother you with like the 3-minute trailer. But long story short, is he signs up for this kind of dating app, but it's with an artificial intelligence. Now it's not an actual person. There's no physical intimacy there. Actually, in one of the scenes, so he falls in love with this personality, this artificial intelligence, and the voice is voiced by Scarlett Johansson, and he actually hires a prostitute to come over, and they basically stands in as a surrogate for that person. So the prostitute doesn't talk. He's engaging with the AI like vocally, but then physically being with this actual human, and it's very, very weird. And in the end of the movie, actually, because this AI can multitask, she's having this conversation with him, but she's also having like multiple other relationships with multiple other men across the world. He finds this out, is heartbroken, and it's this whole really, really weird, good movie, but really weird to think about that this could be a potential in the future. Not even talking physical intimacy, just like having that relationship is so weird.
I can see it happening. I can really, really see it happening, and that's troublesome for me.
So all the negative implications. You said AI is here. You're going to help people that run businesses to implement AI. How can people, like maybe they don't run their own business, maybe they do just have some job somewhere. How does the average person prepare for what's coming? Prepare for the potential job loss. Prepare for what the future holds with AI.
Well, the average person has two choices. They can buy a really, really comfortable couch. Because if they don't do something, that's where they're gonna end up spending most of their time. Because AI is gonna come and put them out of their job. And you think, oh well, no, it won't. I work in a call center. Yeah, the problem with that is I can go and I can personally program a chat bot to interact with you in a call center environment, and you would never know that it's not a person. So that CSR, They don't need. You're not needed. Your receptionist, not needed. How much stuff do you buy on Amazon? You don't need to go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think the average person should do, and this is where I deviate from a lot of people. I think that AI is going to really force entrepreneurship on a lot more people. So the average person should, instead of plopping down and remaining oblivious, the average person needs to say, "Oh my God, I need to do something to get ahead," even if that's 1,000 or 2,000 extra dollars per month. I mean, right now, let's be honest, the global economy is suffering. Yes, I know there are going to be people who say, it's not. Look at all the statistics. Yes, there are lies, damn lies, and then there are statistics. The statistics can be spun to paint any picture you want. If the global economy was doing that well, you wouldn't have a bunch of people living in 10 cities in every major city in North America. That's probably a good sign that things aren't as well as politicians would have us believe. So the average person needs to start something with AI. I wrote the book, The $1 Billion Blueprint, for the average person. So the average person can say, okay, what do I need to do? You want to get ahead? Okay, so I'll tell you right now, the best business to run to create for AI, 100%. You can start it for under $1,000. Lead generation. Every business is a sales business, and every sales business needs to know, where could I find my next customer. If you can start a lead generation business and run it, use AI to run it, you can still keep your 9 to 5 job, and you can still run this business, and you can now double your income. You can triple your income. I don't have time to build it. Again, I'll build it for you. It's not going to cost you. People think, oh, it's going to cost an astronomical sum of money. No, it costs. The cost is nominal. The money you make is yours to keep. You have to do something. We are coming upon a point in our economic journey where nobody's going to like what's coming. Yeah, AI is going to displace a lot of people. However, AI will create a lot of jobs, which most people aren't going to be qualified to do. They're not going to know about, and therefore they will just not get done. And somebody is going to hire someone like me to build an AI to do those jobs that other people couldn't do. If you're serious, now is the time. We're at the start. Pick up the phone, give me a call, go to my website, give me a call, email me, whatever the case is, and start doing something to benefit yourself. Sorry for going on that rant. That is something I'm very passionate about. I see the future for work and artificial intelligence, and it is a horrifying picture. You have to start looking out for yourself. It's Me Incorporated. Yeah, you might work for company XYZ, but it's Me Incorporated. I look out for me, and if you don't start looking out for yourself, there's nobody out there who's going to save you.
That website you said for people to go to is sigma41.com. It's up on the screen now. Can you get the $1 Billion Blueprint there?
Yes.
Okay. And that also, guys, outlines, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ward, it basically outlines not only several different types of careers or industries that you could get into and use AI for, but then it gives case by case and specific examples and specific concrete pathways and courses of action on how to implement it in that business, right?
Yep. It says, okay, this is the business. These are the leading money makers in the business. Here's what you're going to be doing. Here's a marketing plan. Here's a follow-up plan. And it actually outlines how much money you could make and the likelihood of success.
Excellent. Ward, I want to thank you for coming on today and just sharing with us about AI, kind of the good, the bad, the ugly. none of us really, it's a big gray area, right? Like we've not been here before. We don't really know how this is going to shape out, but I want to thank you for coming on to give people some, some semblance or some level of control over what their future has in store, by kind of grabbing the bull by the horns right now before it is too late. Is there anything you want to leave with the audience before we head off?
Yeah, I'm going to just repeat myself. AI is here. It will not go away. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep advancing. Now, will we see a pullback in AI? 100% yes. We're going to see venture funding scale back. We're going to see advances scale back. But that doesn't mean, I mean, we saw the same thing with the internet in between 1999 and 2000. Between 1999 and 2001, how many internet companies just vanished? I mean, we used to have how many search engines? Excite, Lycos, Yahoo, Ask Jeeves, Northern Lights. There used to be dozens of search engines, hundreds of search engines, and none of them exist anymore. We had that winter, quote unquote, of the internet. And what happened? Well, all those companies like Nortel and all those companies, they left a boatload of infrastructure which we use to build the internet that we have today. So we're going to have the same thing, Deep Blue, I don't even remember, it's at least 20 years old. We had AlphaGo, we have all these other AI systems that have just been getting better, and then things fall off. And then the AI comes back with a massive improvement. Yes, that's the way technology works. It ebbs and flows, but that progress is always going to be there. I can't stress enough, and this really scares me because people don't understand what's going on. And it terrifies me because there's going to be so many people who are displaced and who are going to be sitting there going, what the hell happened? So don't wait for that to happen to you. Start now.
Skynet is online. Go to sigma41.com if you want to live. Thanks for coming on, Ward.
All right. Thanks, DJ. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.